Good morning, students. Today we will look at the agriculture sector and the recent reforms. Recently, the government of India has brought three major reforms in agriculture sector. One is in the Essential Commodities Act. 1955, and the second thing is sale of agricultural produce outside APMC, and the third thing is about contract farming. In this class, we will look at the sale of agricultural produce outside APMC. Before we look at the reforms being brought, we will look at the background. Background means what is the issue with the APMCs, what was the act, and what was the intention of the act, why it was failed, and what are the reforms being brought from 1956 till 2020 in order to reform APMCs, and reasons for the failure of APMCs, and the features of the new agricultural produce and marketing act. Okay, the lectures being provided in this class and the background what I'm going to share will be highly beneficial for your mains answer writing. You can use the concepts whatever I'm explaining you in your mains answer as a background information while starting your answer. So I will explain you, and I will also explain you in a brief so that you can exactly quote whatever I am explaining you in your mains answer. So let us start. After 1947, when we followed mixed economic model, government has regulated major industries and also many sectors of the economy. What do you mean by regulation? Here regulation means government can decide who can set up the business, where they can set up the business, and what is the size of the production or what is the size of the business. Similarly, in agriculture also, government has regulated the marketing committees. Government has regulated the markets. Why? To save the farmers from being exploited. Because earlier, the farmers were being exploited by major money lenders and big landlords, and the amount of money being earned by the farmers were very less because we had a feudal system, and the whole concept of national movement has also elements where different sections of the society fighting for their own freedom. It is not just about the freedom from British, it is also a freedom that people of India want from their exploitation being met. So farmers are being exploited by moneylenders, traders, and jamindars and other powerful elements of the society. So, in order to save farmers, the government of India has brought Agricultural Produce Marketing Committees Act in 1956. So, this is the background of this act. What are the features of the agriculture? What are the features of this act? The features of this act are: the first wholesale trade was regulated through mandis. The first wholesale trade was regulated through mandis. Here you need to understand what are mandis, what is wholesale trade, and what do you mean by regulation. What are mandis? Mandis are nothing but a marketing place established by the state government. Here mandis are allowed only wholesale trade. Okay, mandis are allowed only wholesale trade. But what is a wholesale trade? In a wholesale trade, multiple traders occur or come in order to buy the produce, and multiple farmers bring their whole produce to sell. This is how it is different from the retail trade. But understand, government of India have never banned retail trade with respect to farmers. Okay, retail trade means an individual farmer can sell his produce at any shop, at any single trader. This was allowed even in 1956 also. Okay, but through mandis, they were regulating the wholesale trade. Now I will explain what is regulation means. Regulation means only a state government can establish the mandis, and it has not allowed any private party, for example any jamindars or any other industrial house, to set up mandis. Because the intention of the APMC was to save farmers from being exploited, it is natural for the government to prohibit other players to establish mandis. And what are the other players or other stakeholders in the trade in the mandis? Other stakeholders are traders. Farmers will bring their produce to the APMC, and these traders will buy from farmers through competitive price discovery mechanism. What is this competitive price discovery mechanism? Here you can use this term exactly in the examination, which will fetch you more marks, because this is a technical term. This is the standard term which will have a comprehensive meaning, which is being used by the documents of economic survey and other government documents. So using these kind of terminologies will fetch you more marks compared to other candidates. So what is this competitive price discovery mechanism? Through competitive price discovery mechanism means it is through auction. When a farmer brings produce to APMC mandis, traders will auction, and farmers will also auction their produce, and whoever gives maximum amount to farmers, and farmers wherever they feel they get benefited by generating maximum revenue and profit, they will sell their produce. So through competitive price discovery mechanism, which were established by the state mandis, which are being regulated, the government has assumed it will bring profit to the farmers. What are the other things with respect to mandis? Mandis have mandi charges, and these charges are being imposed by the marketing committees, and it is the amount that is being transferred to the marketing committees. Okay, so when you are buying a produce, I if someone is buying commodities, so what is commodities? Commodities, we are using the term, it means these are nothing but the agricultural produce. When someone is buying an agricultural produce, the mandi charges are also included in the price of the produce. So it is not an extra amount that a trader pays either to committees, or neither a farmer pays to the committees. It is the charge that a consumer pays, not the trader and the farmer. Okay, so mandis are established by the state government, and they are allowed only for the wholesale trade, and these have mandi charges, and traders and the farmers, they discover the price through competitive price discovery mechanism. But when this act has such a good intention, and such a proper structure in order to benefit both producers, like farmers, producers, traders, and consumers. Why and what is the issue? The issue is the traders here colluded. That is, cartelization of traders happened. So, what do you mean by this? Traders, for example, if there are 10 traders who want to buy a produce from the farmer, they all collude into a single block, and they say they will give maximum 10 rupees for a kg of onions. Any trader, every trader, wherever farmer is going, they all tell they will give 10 rupees maximum, or they will give less than that. So the farmer is in a position of no choice. That is, farmers have no choice. They have to sell either here or they cannot sell anywhere. And moreover, most of the products they are selling will be perished in a week. So farmers are being left no choice. There is only because there is only one mandi where they can sell their wholesale produce. You understood? So, because of the cartelization of the traders, farmers are being left as disadvantaged sections. And another thing is fragmentation of the APMC mandis. For example, these APMC mandis, like there are multiple mandis in a state. Okay, let us see, this is a state. There are multiple mandis. As I have already mentioned, there are mandi charges. The mandi charges will be like a kind of a transaction tax. For example, when you are buying some goods in the shop, you have GST, right? Similarly, mandi charges are kind of a transaction tax, but they are not same every mandi. They are not same in every mandi. Somewhere it is like 6 to 7%, somewhere it is like 1 to 2%, some very rare, but some mandis they don't even charge mandi charges, but that is very 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 rare. That is for different reasons. Somewhere it is 67%, some mandi it will be like 10 to 15%. So this differentiation is being added to the commodities, and the price of the agricultural produce has been increased, and some farmers who are close to this mandi, for example, yeah, there is another thing which I have to mention in the with respect to mandis. Mandis have a jurisdiction. That is, the farmers located close to these mandis can bring their produce only to this mandi. They cannot take this produce to this mandi. The farmers who are located within a radius of a particular mandi, they can sell their produce only within that particular mandi. They cannot take it to some mandi. For example, let us take a farmer residing in some area X in a region. This is a mandi. This is a mandi. Okay, a farmer can bring his produce only to his mandi, and the transaction tax, that is the mandi charges, is 6 to 7%. He can sell this produce only at this price. He doesn't have any choice because of traders collusion, that is cartelization and the mandi charges. He doesn't have any choice to sell his produce at a price he wished to sell. He was being forced to sell his produce at a predetermined price by these traders, which is nothing but exploitation of farmers. You understood, right? So, also because of this monopoly of this state government in establishing mandis, privatization also lacked in the establishment of the private mandis according to APMC Act 1956. Okay, the APMC Act, which has restricted private parties not to establish the mandis, have made the farmers has left the farmers with no choice. So, in order to summarize, farmers or the issue of APMC Act 1956 is fragmentation. That is, different mandis have different transaction or mandi charges which made them fragmented. and cartelization of mandis or traders. Because of all this stuff, lack of remuneration to farmers or lack of remunerative prices and less private investment. If there is no private investment, there will be no efficiency in the functioning of the mandis. And also, because of Essential Commodities Act 1955, mandis are not allowed to mandis are not allowed for the establishment of cold storages and storage of the agricultural produce for a long period. Okay, this is not just an issue, this is also advantageous at that situation, but this has become a huge roadblock and a issue for the farmers to increase their revenue. Okay, so these are the issues with respect to the APMC Act 1955, which have not become beneficial for the farmers and have made them vulnerable to the politics. As we have seen the APMC Act and its related issues, now we will see what are the reforms being brought by the successive governments in order to fix the issues being present in the APMC Act. In 1991, when the LPG reforms were being brought by the government, the agriculture sector was not being touched. This is one of the structural issues in the reforms of the agriculture sector, or this is one of the structural issues being present in the agriculture sector. And one of the reasons being said was agriculture being a state subject. And then we will look at the other reforms. And in 2003, Vajpayee government, what they had done is they brought a model APMC Act 2003. Through this act, they deregulated the trade in the APMC. It means private mandis can be established by legal persons and local authorities and the growers, that is the farmers itself. The farmers can form a farmer producer organization and they can establish a local mandi, that is a private mandi. That is what being made allowed in the model APMC Act. Here I am using the term model because agriculture being a state subject, a central government cannot make reforms directly. So in this regard, Vajpayee government brought model APMC Act, but state governments have, most of the state governments have not enacted changes in their respect to APMC Act because of the local politics, because most of the traders are the party members of their respective ruling parties or other political parties. So state governments have not enacted the respective reforms in their state APMC acts. And Vajpayee government also deregulated the milk trade. For example, the milk whatever you are buying now may cost something around 45 rupees or 50 rupees because based on the state. Earlier, before deregulation, farmers used to get only half of the price or 16 rupees per liter like that. But right now, because of deregulation, farmers can make profits out of the quantity of milk they produce and most of the benefits they can take. The deregulation means the middleman can be removed. Okay, so in another reform being brought was 2016. In 2016, the BJP government, that is NDA government, they brought e-NAM. This is one of the major reforms. However, it has not achieve the success it was anticipated, it was assumed. So before understanding what are the issues, we will understand what is it. Through ENAM, government want to achieve one India, one agricultural market. It is nothing but an online marketplace which is not, it is just an online marketplace using the ICT, information and communication technology. Here you can use this in other governance topics also, this ENAM. The concept of this ENAM is not just necessary to use in the agriculture sector. In the governance also, in the reforms being brought by the government, we can use this concept also in examples and explain other topics. I will explain you on the governance videos also. But this ENAM, it did not replace the APMC mandis. You have to understand that it is just a scheme, but it did not replace the APMC mandis. So what is ENAM? So ENAM is nothing but a software which is provided at each mandi, and each mandi, that means there are several mandis, right? As we have said, in state there are several mandis. Each mandi is interconnected through an internet. So a farmer can bring his produce to the mandi, and a trader located in a different mandi can see the produce of the farmer. And like this, several farmers all over the country can check the produce of the farmer, and the farmer and the trader can go to a negotiation through auction methodology, and the farmer can realize maximum revenue for his produce. This is what the expected outcome. So it means the ENAM is trying to remove the structural bottlenecks. You can use this term exactly in the examination. It is trying to remove the structural bottlenecks in the agricultural produce marketing committees, which means the farmer is not restricted to sell his produce only to the trader present in a particular mandi. He can sell his produce to any mandi in any part of the country. This is the expected outcome. However, in order to get this implemented, the respective state governments have to make amendments in their APMC Act. So only few state governments have made amendments, but they restricted the application of ENAM only to their or within their state. But and also this is one of the issue, and also another issue is that farmer have to bring his produce to the mandi physically there, because in a mandi there will be an agent who will uh, facilitate the farmer to log in into the APMC portal, and he can check the price that a trader is offering to pay for a produce, for example potato, tomato, like this, in other part of the country, and he can sell his produce. But the restriction is he must bring the produce to the APMC mandi. Another feature is through ENAM is the farmer can sell either his produce either at the physical mandi, the mandi where he has brought the produce, and he can sell the produce either to another trader present in another location through ENAM. Okay, this is one of the feature. We will see what are the advantages the ENAM was expected to bring. It helps the farmers to realize the price through competitive mechanism, because it enhances the competition, like it enhances the choices of the farmers by facilitating him to connect to the traders which are present all over the India, and it will reduces the trader monopoly. So a trader or a group of traders which are present in a particular mandi that will not have a higher voice, and a trader present in another state or another region can also buy the product produced brought by the farmer. So it reduces the traders monopoly. As the monopoly of the traders is reduced, the prices of the produce will also come down, and the prices of the produce for the consumers will also come down. Prices will consumers will also be benefited, because for example, if a farmer is selling, for example, to explain you, during the rainy season, onions and potatoes will always be priced at 80 per kg, like that. But 80 per kg, like that. But the real price that the farmers are selling in the APMC mandis are something like 20 rupees or 10 rupees per kg. The remaining 70% is a commission, or is the amount that the traders are making. But who are the losers here? Both the farmers and the consumers. Traders are at a beneficial slide. So in order to reduce this monopoly of the irregular trade practices being made by the traders, the government tried or brought a reform through ENAM. So one is the physical mandi access. It helps the competitive price discovery. It reduces the trade monopoly, and it reduces the consumers also. It benefits the consumers also. But what are the real challenges in the implementation of the ENAM? One one license for an entire state. This is one of the features of the ENAM, but however, state governments have to make the respective changes in their state government acts, which is not possible because of the political pressure group politics by the local traders. Another thing is transportation challenges. APME now, when a trader is buying a produce from a farmer, the transportation charges for a transportation of the produce from one mandi to another has to be paid by a trader. So, a trader, when he is buying a produce through auction methodology, he has to count the transportation charges also while making a deal with the farmer. And also, it will limit the competitive advantage to a farmer because of the physical disadvantage, that is distance disadvantage. Also, the quality checking. A trader present in a Maharashtra cannot understand the quality of the produce being brought by the farmer without physically verifying it. He cannot check the quality of the produce just by looking the image or through a video. But there are reforms being brought by the government in order to fix this through quality checking labs. However, it was one of the limitations, and traders were not so willing to buy the product in this methodology. And also, to in order to fix this transportation challenges, we can recommend like dedicated freight corridors, which will reduce the cost of the transportation, that is bulk transportation. Dedicated freight corridors, the construction which is being brought by the government in the infrastructure sector. This is one of the reforms being brought by the government in the infrastructure sectors. And Bharatmala. Okay, so and inland waterways, all this infrastructure development will help for the making transportation, that is bulk transportation, cheaper, and it will bring the real outcomes which are being intended in the ENAM and other e-governance projects by the government. Okay, these are the issues with the ENAM. In 2017, the NDA government has again brought another Model Act at the central level. It has removed the earlier APMC Act of 2003, Model Act. Now, in 2017, it brought Model Agricultural Produce and Livestock Management Act, which is nothing but Model AP and LM Act 2017. What are the features of this act? It allowed private wholesale mandis. This act allowed private wholesale mandis in which was not allowed in the state government APMC acts. Only state government can establish the mandis, but this model act allowed establishment of private mandis. Who can establish the private mandis? The who can establish is godowns. Those who are the owners of the godowns, silos, cold storages, they can all apply for a registration and they can transform their locations into a mandi. They can make it as a private mandi where the farmers can bring their produce and the traders can buy their produce. So this will enhance the competition and farmers will have more choice, which will maximize their revenue, and consumers also will be benefited and reduces the trade monopoly. Okay, these are the benefits. Whatever the issues that are being present in the APMC Act 1956 will be removed by this proposed legislation. And also another reforms which are being proposed are mandi charges were capped. Earlier, I have mentioned that mandi charges were made at 6 to 7%, they were different. But here, the mandi charges were capped, such as for normal produce, it is 1%, and for the perishable produce, the maximum that they can charge, that is the APMC committees, is 2% for perishable, 1% for the normal prices. And the bill also proposes to have a single license for the whole state. That is, in the present APMC Act of the state governments, for each mandi, a trader has to take a license. But this act proposes one license for the whole state and single point of levy of market fees. For example, single point of levy. For example, in the present APMC acts of the state governments, if a trader is or a farmer, if there is a transaction of the produce at a particular mandi, there is a charge being levied for the transaction. And if they want to sell the same produce or if they bring it to another mandi, they have to pay another charges. So, but this Model Act removes this kind of a limitation and they made single point of levy. However, most of the state governments, except few states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Maharashtra, Karnataka, only these states have implemented, but they do have limitedly implemented these reforms. However, most of the states are not willing and they have not implemented these model laws because of the pressure groups of the local traders, that is APMC committee traders. In 2018, government allowed accredited warehouses with warehouse development and regulatory authority, that is whoever have accredited with the WDRA, those warehouses can act as a private mandi. Okay, so they have allowed the private mandis here, allowed the parties to establish their private mandis, they allowed the go down silos and cold storages. In 2018, government allowed the warehouses also to act as private mandis because farmers can produce their produce and they can bring their produce to the warehouses, and here they can sell the produce directly to the traders. And also e-way bill is also related to this one. Okay, I will explain about e-way bill in another video. However, e-way bill also, it also been related indirectly to these agricultural reforms. Because of all these reforms have been failed in order to realize the revenue or double the farmer income. Okay, doubling the farmer income is one of the objectives of the government by 2030. Okay, as these successive reforms since 2016, that is ENAM and the Model APL and LM Act, and allowing of the accredited warehouses to transform into private mandis, is all failed. The government of India in June or May 2020 have brought in ordinances because though agriculture is a state subject, trade, agriculture trade is a part of concurrent list. As successive state governments are not willing to support the farmers, are not willing to realize the revenue of the farmers, they are not letting the choice farmers to have a more choice in order rather than increasing their capabilities in order to give the more voice to farmers and to make more money. They are farmers depending on the subsidies, they are making farmers simply depending on subsidies and using them for vote bank politics. So the government of India have brought the reforms, and one of the reforms is farmers produce trade and commerce ordinance. You understood? Farmers produce and trade ordinance. Here in this ordinance, the what are the features is private wholesale trade can be done anywhere in India. Remember, it has not touched the state government APMC acts. It has just liberalized the wholesale trade to be done anywhere in India apart from the APMC mandis. They can sell at anywhere, that is farm gate also. That is the farmer can sell his produce even at the farm, his own farm. There is no restriction. He can sell his produce to any, for example, a food processing industry also. He can sell his produce in another state also. So they liberalized the wholesale trade outside the APMC mandis. And godowns and cold storages will act as the mandis, which was already an act, but they all see whatever the reforms being brought in the earlier legislation through model acts, through other schemes, the government have brought all the reforms legalized through this act. So when it was a scheme, when it was an optional scheme, e-norm is an optional scheme. Though central government has put certain restrictions on the state governments in order to implement that, state governments were reluctant to implement those reforms. So as the failure of the schemes and the unwillingness of the states to implement these model acts, the government has brought the legislation directly, so which is giving more voice and power to the farmers. So, and the most important thing is no mandi charges. So, which is like a direct competition to the APMC mandis. APMC mandis. Recently, if you see the newspapers, some of the APMC mandis in the Uttar Pradesh have brought down their mandi charges to 1 to 2% now. Earlier they were 67% and they brought down their mandi charges, which is being beneficial to consumers and also to the traders and also to the farmers. And if there exists any dispute, the dispute settlement can be done outside of the court through conciliation board appointed by the subdivisional magistrate. Outside court through conciliation board. Who will appoint this conciliation board? A subdivisional magistrate will appoint the conciliation board. And warehouses, cold storages, anything can be made into a mandi. This is also a reform being established or proposed in earlier model acts. However, this law legalized all these aspects. So you understood, right? So with this ordinance, it is said that agriculture has got independence in 2020, not rather than in 1947. So these reforms have such a market liberalized economy competitive advantages for the farmers who can increase their revenues if implemented properly.